What's up, guys? DMG Tech Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Parkinson, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about getting the Linux Mint installed on a Google Chromebook or on any Chromebook, on any PC, really. Now, for Mac users, this is going to be a little bit different, but for Windows users, you should be able to follow along just the same. Now, first, I'm going to speak about getting it installed on Crouton. Now, this is going to be a little bit different process than normally installing your typical Linux ISO file. Now, to install it for the Crouton version, you're actually not going to be installing Linux Mint directly. You're going to be installing the Cinnamon desktop environment. Now, that shouldn't really change too much. There's going to be a few little different things as far as the backside of how it all works, but as far as everything else, it should be, pretty similar. Now, what is the Cinnamon theme? The Cinnamon desktop theme is going to be what you see right here. This typical bottom bar, this kind of search in here. Now, this menu's been edited, as well as the look of it, through a different theme, which you can get yourself. But I really like the Cinnamon desktop environment. I believe it's number 1 right now on DistroWatch. You can head over to distrowatch.com. I'll have a link in the description, and it'll talk about, it just shows you the rankings of, what's the more popular Linux distribution to choose from. I currently use this, and I use Elementary OS to bounce between. Now, as far as installing this on a Google Chromebook without using Crouton, or just a PC or laptop in general, what you're going to need to do is head over to the linuxmint.com/download.php. Again, I'll have a link in the description. And you're going to come over here and you need to download the correct version of what you're looking for. Now, for 99% of people, it's going to be this very top one right here. Now, you need to make sure you're either downloading the correct version for a 32-bit or a 64-bit architect. For majority of us that are going to be on the Chromebooks, it's going to be the 64 bits. I'm doing this on an Acer C720. And you want to make sure that it does have multimedia support. So as you see, if I look over here, there's no codecs. That's where that multimedia support is, and trust me, you do want that, because that's where all your flash and all that type of stuff is going to come from. Now, if you scroll on down a little bit lower, you're going to see the word MATE, MAT, or MATE. That is going to be a different desktop environment. You can go ahead and select and choose that if you'd like to. There's also going to be the no codecs, obviously, and then there's going to be the two other ones, which is going to be KDE and XFCE. Now, XFCE you can download without coming over here if you're on Crouton. KDE, you can do that as well. Just replace the word KDE instead of the word Cinnamon, as well as replace XFCE with the word Cinnamon that you saw on the little how-to that I showed you just a minute ago. As far as for Linux users that are going to be doing this on a Chromebook or on a Windows PC, you can download any of those and use them. Depends on what your desktop environment, what you enjoy more. Preferably, I'm going to stick with the Cinnamon, and for this tutorial, we're going to stick with the Cinnamon. And how it works is you're going to now need to download one of those. It should take about 15 to an hour, depending on how fast your internet connection is. And you need to make a live USB with that. For anybody that's using an Android device, I'm going to have a link in the description for an application called Drive Droid. It is free to use. If you download that installation, you do not need to actually use or come in here and download any of this. You can actually download it directly from within the application. It'll have a list of options to use for. I'll also have a link in the description on a video kind of explaining how Drive Droid works. And so you're going to go ahead and go in that. Now, what we're going to need to do differently for Chromebook users, now this is going to be different for a Chromebook as well as Windows users and Mac users, is we need to make our Chromebook actually boot. So this is boot into our USB. So this isn't going to work for every Chromebook. You need to have Legacy Boot enabled. Again, I'll have a link in the description on kind of another video talking about how to enable that and what Legacy Boot enables. When that actually is enabled, what that does is it allows you to boot from a USB drive when your Chromebook starts up. Now, if you are using the Drive Droid, you need to remember that your USB drive is going to come up listed as whatever your phone manufacturer is. So if you're using a Samsung device, it's going to come up as your USB as a Samsung USB. LG same way, Nexus. So keep an eye on that. Your drive might be listed a little bit differently than what you're used to. And that pretty much comes to it when you're installing Cinnamon. Or sorry, should I say Linux Mint. It's extremely easy to do. Again, I will have links in the description to kind of get everybody, everybody's going to be looking at this video is probably going to come from a different area. So Crouton users, remember you're just going to replace your XFC or Unity word with the Cinnamon word. Make sure that you are installing the current version, which is Ubuntu version raring. Again, that's in the link in the description. Chromebook users that are going to want to do it directly off of the USB, you can need to make sure that legacy boot is enabled. And that's about it. If you do have any questions or comments, I know this is kind of more of just a talk than it is a demonstration. But again, like I say, everybody's coming from something different. Leave a comment in the section below. If any of the links have changed or you found a better link, you can always leave that there too, and I'll update it for other users. Thanks for watching another episode of the DMG Tech Show. Check out some of our other episodes, and as always, don't forget to subscribe.